ambassador was the major promoter of our product, and you will see that he is right promoting this product. And indeed, we also want to inform you that this product has a specific way of consuming it, a specific way of preparing it, and the most important thing, a specific way of enjoying it. Because basically, that's what we are here for. And I've been told that Philippines not only eat a lot, but also like to enjoy food. And to be very honest, I always call food the second or the third, depending on how many languages you speak, language. If you have a meeting with somebody you like, somebody you love, what do? You go out and you eat something together. And it's basically, it's one of the major things in your relationship. It's sitting with people, whether it's your husband, your wife, your friends, your children, your parents, your grandparents. It's all about having things together, enjoying things together. And I believe that these very small potato products can help you to have more fun. And I hope I can convince you after this presentation. So we'll have a look at some things. First of all, we start with potatoes. Don't forget, a lot of people don't know anymore that fries are made from potatoes. Even in my country, in Belgium, some young people believe that fries grow on trees. You pick them and you put them in the oil and they're ready. I'm serious, I'm not joking. The gap between agriculture and what we eat is often completely gone. And this is why I always start with the first word, potatoes. That's where we're starting from. So, the history, I have to be very honest, we did not invent the potato. It was some Peruvian farmers high in the Andes, in Peru, in Bolivia, in all that area of the Andes that have grown potatoes for the first time from wild species into domesticated potatoes. And from that part of the world, of course, we all know the history. I think you also know a part of the history about Spain. This area is also related to that. The Spanish conquistadores came to South America, and they went for gold and silver, and they brought back home the biggest gold they ever could find, the potato. That's what they brought back home to their country, and they didn't know what to do with it. So they said, yeah, let's put it in the ground. That's what they heard. So they put it in the ground, and then they start to eat the leaves and the seed balls which grew on the plant, because they could not eat what was growing under the plant, because what is going under the plant is in the earth, and the earth is a location of the devil, and the plant is a location of God, because that's above the soil. So they eat the wrong thing. So the plant disappeared in botanical gardens and was gone. Until the moment that a French guy, I have to admit, France is a part of our culture. They are a lousy football team, Mr. Ambassador, but they played an important role in the culinary aspect of the world. Even in this hotel, I just arrived yesterday. You see a lot of French connections related to food and the way of living. Well, it's the French that have discovered the potato as a nutritional source, and it went up through northern parts of Europe, especially Ireland, a very Catholic country with a lot of monks that traveled all over the world in Europe, and they spread the potato around. Later it was discovered that it played not only a big part in feeding, first animal feed, then human beings, but even, it went further, it was the cause of two centuries of peace in Europe. Because basically a lot of wars are fought not only for interest of money, but also for food. And as this product was available, and it was called the bread of the poor, it was stopping a lot of wars which were caused by a lack of production of cereals in those days. Because you will not find, there is a publicity for a pasta brand in Belgium where the Romans were serving potatoes. There were no potatoes in Rome. It was only bread at those days. So only later in the 18th century, 19th century, basically the potato crop expanded in Europe. And then it traveled all over the world. We'll see the first from South America, Middle America on, then Asia was contacted in the 1600s, basically China, India, and Japan, where they had the first contact with the potato. And later, in the other way around, in the 1800s, it traveled also to this part of Southeast Asia. That's the history of the potato I want to introduce you. And then when you have a potato, then you can make a delicious golden product out of it, called fries. But why do we call them French fries? Is there a reason for it? Well, there is the story that, of course, soldiers in the First World War from the United States went to Belgium, because that's the area where the big war, as we call it, 100 years ago was fought and ended, luckily, to start later again. Let's hope that we do not face this again in this history. But anyway, this is the story. The reality is that, of course, France was the area of noblesse, of counts, earls, rich courts, and one of the major enjoyments of having an income, and this is what's happening also in this part of the world, where you have more and more people developing, getting a job, earning money, and are able to make a choice of food. Because the first thing when you don't have the money is to survive on food. The next step is to enjoy the food. And that was possible in France, and that's the way that a lot of our culinary traditions, not only in Europe, but also even here, originated one way or another from the French cuisine. And one of them was also cutting vegetables into strips. And that's the way, they call it the French way of cutting, the French cutting. So even today, if you go to lessons or cookery schools, you learn to cut the French way, your vegetables, for walking or whatever you want to do with it. Well, that's also what happened with the potato. They cut it in stripes and they fried it in oil. And that's where the origin probably of the potato is coming from. That's the way that's why they call it French fries. So it's not France, it's the French cuisine, and it's the French way of cutting. And just to illustrate this, I don't know, does anybody know this comic strip, Asterix? You do? Okay, because you do it. Give you a reward for that. Very good. So this is the book, The Potato in Belgium, Land of the Fries. Read it and you will have the whole story much more detailed. Well, this is Asterix, and it's indeed a very comic strip. It's a French strip, by the way, but it also talks about these Gaul people that travel all over the world, and also they come into Belgium. And there the guy says here, the Gaul guy, visiting Belgium says, by the way, darling, did you ever think of cutting roots into chips and frying them? And basically that is what we believe is the scientific proof that the fries are not from France, but from Belgium. So we can show this to the rest of the world. Anyway, also beer and chocolates are connected with our country, as you probably know. But basically, and I'm just going to illustrate these two pictures to show you. The first one on the right-hand side, this is a promotion campaign from the Belgian government. You know, luckily, some time ago, we were also a victim of terrorist attacks in the country, in the airport of Brussels. And then there was a lot of questioning, yeah, people are afraid if something's going wrong. And at that moment, the Belgian authorities launched a campaign saying, hey, we are still there, and we are still Belgium as we were before. And one of the slides was, we could keep reminding you that we were the ones who invented chips, by the way, chips, but we just rather eat them. To be very honest, why do you see the word chips here? Well, in English, fries are called chips. And chips, as we eat them, potato chips, are called crisps. Just to illustrate that a lot of translations are given to that product. In Italy they call it patatini, in Spain they call it patatas fritas, in Portugal and Brazil they call it batatas fritas, in South America, Spanish-speaking world, they call it papas fritas. In Belgium they call it, we have 3 languages, probably you didn't know that. You know, anybody knows which languages we speak in Belgium?
French.
French, yes, right. Other, second? What other language do you think we speak?
Spanish? No.
What, Belgian?
Spanish.
We're working on this one.
Spanish.
So the second one, anybody can help us?
English.
Dutch, yes, 2. And the third one?
English.
No.
No. German.
Yes, German. So I have 2 persons who can profit from this unique moment. Was you? And the second one who said
French.
was
Ako.
You're getting also one. No problem.
Ako nagsabi ng French.
So indeed we have 3 languages. And in Belgium we call them friet in Flemish. Fries.
Thank you.
Fries, friet in French. It's the same word. These are. And we call them in German, we call them pommes. Related to a French word, pomme de terre. So you see, there are a lot of languages, a lot of words are given to that unique product. The pictures you see here are all selfies which are made in 2015.